A woman is now working with police after she says she shot a man who she says was trying to sexually assault her 12-year-old daughter.
There are stories that are shocking, and then there are stories that make you want to throw a chair through a wall. This is one of those stories. A mother walks into a hotel room and finds a man, a convicted child predator, in the process of trying to grape her 12-year-old daughter. So what does she do? Well, she pulls out a gun and shoots him, of course. This is the kind of story that anti-gunners love to ignore because it destroys their entire narrative. Let's watch the news clip and then we're going to talk about it.
Court documents reveal that police responded to the shooting at the Baymont Inn on Eagle View Drive. Officers say when they got there, they learned that the girl and her sister had met up with their mom and a man named Bruce Pierce in the hotel lobby. After going back to a hotel room, the mom was carrying bags to the car and the girl stayed behind in the room with Pierce. That's when she says he tried to assault her while holding a gun and even ripping her clothes. According to the documents, the mom then came back into the room. She saw what was happening and she fired at Pierce using her own gun. Pierce went to the hospital. The girl was checked out at Riley Hospital. Pierce has multiple previous child molestation convictions and now has a warrant out for his arrest on new charges that include child molesting, rape, and unlawfully owning a firearm.
So let me get this straight. This man had already been convicted 3 times for child rape. And now he's accused of pulling a gun on a 12-year-old girl and trying to grape her. So I'm gonna ask the question that the media never wants to. How the hell does a 3-time convicted child predator get his hands on a firearm? Anyone? Anyone? No? Cool, I'll answer it. Because he's a criminal. He doesn't care about your background checks. He doesn't care about your gun-free zones. He doesn't care about your assault weapons ban. He just gets the damn gun because he's a criminal. And guess what? The only thing that stopped him this time wasn't the police, wasn't the system. It was a mother with a gun who walked in and did what needed to be done. That's what stopped him. Not your laws, not your feel-good legislation, a gun in the hands of a prepared parent. Let's talk about the part of this story that's got me scratching my head a little bit. According to reports, the mom had just met this guy. She meets him, goes to a hotel room with her 2 daughters, and then leaves them alone with him while she runs bags to the car. I don't care if it was 5 minutes. You just met this man and now your 12 and 13-year-old daughters are alone with him? Look, I'm not saying this to bash her. I genuinely believe she didn't think something would happen, but that's the problem. That's the fairy tale so many people are living in. This guy didn't even wait for the mom to drive away. She was literally just outside, and he still tried to grape that little girl. That's how evil works. That's how brazen these monsters are. They don't care how close you are, how nice you are, or how short the window is. They will try to take what they want when they want it. That's why you have to live in reality. You're not surrounded by harmless people with good intentions. You're surrounded by wolves. And the only thing keeping them from devouring you is your awareness and your ability to fight back. Now, here's something that didn't get much attention in the coverage, but I want to highlight it. You see, the girl was taken to Riley Hospital because the shot her mom fired went off right next to her ear. That's right. She may now have hearing damage from the gunshot fired in a small hotel room to save her life. Now, let's talk about suppressors. Yeah, the things Hollywood calls silencers and politicians pretend are only used by assassins. Granted, they are technically called silencers, but they don't actually silence the gun. Now, in the real world, suppressors are safety tools. If this mother had a suppressor on her gun, that little girl likely wouldn't be dealing with trauma of hearing loss on top of the trauma of what this man tried to do to her. And before anyone tries to twist this, no, I'm not blaming the mom. I'm blaming the predator who forced her to fire that gun. What I'm saying is this: situations like this prove exactly why we need to pass the Hearing Protection Act. Suppressors are not about being sneaky. They're about protecting your ears when you have no other choice but to shoot. They don't make the gun silent. They don't make it undetectable. They just make it survivable in every way that matters. This story is a gut punch, but it's also a reminder that evil doesn't wait. It doesn't knock, it doesn't hesitate, it takes. And the only thing that stops it is someone prepared to say, not today. This mother didn't rely on the system. She didn't wait for the police. She saw a man trying to rape her daughter and she pulled the trigger. And now her daughter is alive because of it. Now look, I don't know this mother's background. I don't know if she had formal firearm training, but what I do know is she was armed. And when it mattered most, she was willing to defend her child, even with the convicted predator holding a gun in the same room. And if you're someone who owns a gun or might ever need to use one to defend your life or the life of someone you love, you need to check out the USCCA, because the second you use your gun, even in a justified self-defense shooting like this one, that's when your real fight starts. You're gonna deal with cops, investigators, possibly prosecutors, maybe even lawsuits. You need to be ready legally and financially. That's where USCCA comes in, and that's why they sponsor this channel. They provide you with education, training, and if the worst ever happens, legal protection after a self-defense incident. It's like carrying a spare magazine, but for your legal life. So if you carry a gun for self-defense, don't do it without knowing what comes next. Click the link in the description section of this video and learn more. And if you decide the USCCA isn't for you, I would much rather you go with something else than nothing at all. One thing's for certain and two things are for sure. Politicians and tech giants don't want gun content to be recommended to you. And we're all fighting this culture war together. Now you can help do your part by liking, commenting, subscribing to the channel, but most importantly, sharing this video with at least one person. Together we can stop the suppression of our 2A rights. And don't forget to click the link in the description section of this video for the products that I mentioned in this video.